lead it comfortably.
The magnificent Sydney Harbour tonight. The Opera House looking splendid it is, but it is this Sydney, the Sydney Swans, who are getting the job done here at the moment. 28 points to 3 and doing it very, very well indeed. Let's get down to Cameron Ling, who's down there at ground level. Lingy.
Well, I am, BT. Just looking at the Geelong guys go through their last messages. Remarkably, only the 4th time in 11 years that they've been kept goalless in the first quarter, and of course 2 out of the last 3 weeks. So that's something to worry about. They wanted to try and stop those Sydney big fellas, Goods, Buddy Franklin, Kurt Tippett, and of course Sam Reid. Well, getting 18 entries against is not the way to do it. They need to start getting their hands on the ball in the midfield, stop those entries. Otherwise, those big Sydney forwards are just going to continue to dominate all night.
Yeah, it's a really good point Lingy makes. There's a lot of focus on not having their All-Australian champion in Corey Enright. Tom Lonergan's got a great record on Buddy, but you could put another 6 defenders down there. If it was coming down as quick as it was in the first quarter, no one is going to be able to stand up. So they've got to get back on top. Stevie J had a bit of the footy. Richo, 8 possessions. Joel Selwood had half a dozen, but it wasn't that real impact where you saw them slicing their way through and affecting the footy going forward. So they really need, as Lingy said, get back on top in the middle of the ground.
They're turning it over at half back. There's Ryan O'Keefe up in corporate box, it looks like, having a look at the game. I'm sure he'd rather be out there.
Where's he at the moment, boys, do you think?
Well, he's not getting a game. He's playing in the Sydney Reserves team up here in the NEFL, BT, so I'm sure he'll be trying to work his way back in, absolute champion. But they've got to do something about Craig Bird. He's just getting his own footy out there. 14 disposals, 3 clearances.
Other than the wingman, all of the players straight down the middle of the ground there for both sides. That fishbone look. Kennedy. Reid tackled by Kelly. Now Franklin looks a little greasy out there tonight. Shaw has been splendid. Once again, a little too high for Tippett on that occasion. Varco to find the boundary. He too slips. Don't think it's been raining here today at all. Kick on the way is very, very impressive. And well done to Bird. Can't believe it, Scott.
Well, there he is. Craig Bird, he's having a career night tonight. He's been a really good player the last 4 or 5 weeks. The big improver for mine in this Sydney team. But tonight he's taken it to another level. And that, when he's going like this in the midfield, it allows them to play McRae and Jack in that forward line. And it's a dangerous combination for them to have.
Well, Travis Varco would love his time again here. I know there's a fine line between taking the ball out deliberately. He had to get that out of bounds, though. He couldn't let Sydney have another opportunity. Allow Kieran Jack to win the ball, give the handball off to Bird, and they kick a goal. Just a costly mistake by Trav Varco.
Another opportunity in the middle. Kelly, Bird. Another huge bounce by Matthew Nichols. To get it underway. The subs tonight, as you can see, bottom left there, Cunningham and Sheringham, for their respective sides.
Look at the space inside 50 here. Franklin and Tippett with the whole 50 to themselves.
Lonergan, of course, not playing tonight. Enright out also. 2 of their very, very best defenders. And been opened up as a result so far because Blitzavs hasn't quite got the job done tonight.
See Andrew Mackie there, who very rarely do you see Geelong defenders panic with the foot. He looked up, he's normally got an Enright around him, he's got Lonergan. He had to just invent something then. He's waving, saying we need more numbers back, need more support down here.
There he is, he finds it in the hole this time, Blitzavs.
Play on, not 15, play on.
Motlop's got to go, so he's put under pressure. That kick's not going to get there either. Grundy got back. Thought he could have almost been paid the mark. Once again, the knockout tackle by Sydney. Done at least 4 of those in this game where they've gone past the player and knocked the ball out of the hands.
And it's almost kamikaze down the middle for Geelong at the moment. They're kicking it to their game plan, but they're kicking it to where all the Swans' numbers are. They've just got to think it through a little bit, show a little bit of composure.
Out competing them at the moment here, the Sydney Swans. Buddy to Taylor, he wanted some help. He wanted the 1-2 as well, but the little chislet to Tippett on the lead is perfect footy.
It's too easy though at the moment. Franklin gathered that football, and the work rate of the Swans to get over and get that handball receive, and then just had far too much time, Reece Shaw, to execute that kick. The defenders have no hope. if it's this easy. Have a look at this. Gets the handball to Reece Shaw. He's got all day to think about who I'm going to kick that to. What hope for the defender.
Tippett comes in and nails the goal. He gets his third and Sydney get goal number 6.
What an amazing start to this game. It's got blowout written all over it. We know that rarely happens to Geelong teams, but they have to regroup here at the moment. 22 inside 50s for Sydney. That is on track for a world record. It would be a nightmare being Jared Rivers at the moment. It would be a nightmare being Harry Taylor and Andrew Mackie. It's just an avalanche.
So Tippett enjoyed his third goal. What do they do, Geelong? Are they going to lock down on more players, Das, or what do they do?
If they keep going at the pace of 22 inside 50s a couple of minutes into the second quarter, they'll score 30 goals, Sydney. They've just got to find a way to get hold of the footy in the middle of the ground, Richard.
Well, Lingy, you're the man to ask, but just wait for this.
I saw them in that centre then, Geelong. They played man on man and made sure they didn't get beaten in that stoppage there. Stokes, what do you think, Lingy?
Well, I love the fact that they've thrown James Kelly back in amongst the action as well. He was so good last week winning the contested ball after they were beaten badly against Fremantle in that contested footy in the middle part of the ground. We're seeing shades of that again tonight. Get your hard nuts around the ball, as you said. Lock on a little bit without being completely reactive to them and win some footy in the middle. Give your forwards a chance. Give your defenders a chop out.
McVeigh couldn't quite glove that. Murdoch. Jetta, quick little give. Rampy in tight. McVeigh, fast hands. So good at this, Sydney. Really good looking stuff out of defence. Teams watching this, I reckon, will be going, oh no, Sydney are starting to find their rhythm. Tippett couldn't push off his man. And Blitzarv's there.
Well called, BT, because as Blitzarv's has almost kicked a point for the opposition. That's the other thing Geelong have got to stop. Sydney are just rebounding the ball beautifully from their back half, just linking up with handball, short kicks, using it superbly. Sydney are looking very good, but Geelong allowing them to do it too easily.
So you have to be a bit cautiously. I know I love the style your side's played forever about going through the middle of the ground, but if it's a 1-on-3 the other way, you have to maybe show a little bit of caution.
Well, absolutely. You still got to choose, make the right decisions. If it's on, you use it and you back your leg. If it's not on, well, you still take the other better option out there.
Play on.
Now, look at this. Hawkins had his back to Johnson when he kicked the footy. He had his back to him, was not even looking. Stevie J couldn't hold on to the footy any longer, and he said, what are you doing, mate? You've got to face me. Now Sydney on the counter. Blitzarves playing better in this quarter.
Yeah, that's two intercept marks in a row for Blitzarves. So he's steadied the ship there, but it's on the outside. They're getting smashed in transition, the Cats.
Right on it there.
It's not that out of control in the contested and clearance, but once the Swans win it, they're spreading a lot better.
That kick is not going to get it done. Melcheski read it like a book, and Rivers has got to get back. Dropped a simple mark in the end by his standards, and now there's not a lot of help. That ball was knocked out in the tackle. That's why there was no ruling from the umpire. Johnson, as soon as he got it, Melcheski pole drove him. And now Kelly, inching kick. Look at this. Finally got some open run through the middle. Hall and Smith, a bounce, not sure what to do. In the end, he goes wide to Buse.
Pushing the back, Geelong free kick downfield.
And so it'll be a Buse free.
No, back.
Didn't go over the mark.
Harry Taylor, I think he's been switched forward. Taylor hasn't kicked a goal this year.
Buse, he draws Hawkins to the footy. He stumbles and props and stops and didn't look like he knew what was going on that occasion, Hawkins. And now we'll have almost a certain ball up here as Cheddar's not too keen to get it out of there.
Here's the down free. Just a little push in the back. It was
So back.
a free kick down the field. And at the moment, Hawkins he was in great form last week, but it just doesn't seem to have his rhythm at the moment. His leading patterns are all out of whack, and footy's not coming down great, but they really need Hawkins to stand up.
There's Goods, the 336-game superstar. Little handball off to Lloyd. Back to Buddy. Standing, rip at it from 50. Grazes the post. Up high there from the beautifully completed Bradman stand. Magnificent new stand they've got at the SCG. Rampy, did he get into the back? I think it's Stevie J underneath all that.
15-metre kick into the most dangerous part on the ground to a 1-on-2 Sydney's way. They've got out of it here, Geelong.
Oh, the skill of Motlop with that right foot running banana was superb. Murdoch, once again, Hawkins.
It's that sort of night, isn't it?
Didn't think it was going to him. He thought it was going to the shorts, and he really gets into his own player there.
No, but he's right on that occasion. He had two players short in front of him that he should have hit then, Murdoch. He should have gone short to the two players just there that we can see. Blitzas went in between everyone, and Teddy Richards read it better.
Stokes, McIntosh. 2 goals kicked in this quarter by Sydney, none obviously by the Cats, but they seem to have stemmed the bleeding just a little bit here. For the moment, Johnson almost. Now he's fighting hard to lock it in. His short's almost dangling off.
And Lee, it's just such unfamiliar territory for us who've watched Geelong play and dominate for almost a decade. I suppose the players out there haven't experienced this too often at all, either, Lee, being in a situation where it's just not going their way.
No, absolutely, Darcy. And that's the thing that Sydney are putting so much pressure on as well. Their tackle counts through the roof. It goes to show that plenty of pressure and really good pressure, good winning of the ball, good ball movement can unsettle even the best of teams. We've seen Geelong do it to opposition teams so many times before, but at the moment, just Sydney all over them. And you can see a couple of the Geelong players just not sure where to go with their footy and just starting to panic a little bit, and it's hurting them.
That shot looking down from the Bradman stand there. Stokes applying the tackle. Little kick away by Parker. Goods harassed by Blitzarves. Did well not to give away the free Blitzarves. Dawson Simpson puts his head over the ball and tries to knock it out. Got Smith high. He wants to go. The counter again, as it always does. Comes through Reece Shaw. Kick from Melcheski wasn't his best. But look at the run of Shaw.
That is outstanding.
Oh, that's gut running, Richo.
Yes.
Now Tippett wants it top of the square. Didn't want to lead to the left foot. He goes in that direction. Jack says, "Where are you, Tippo?" Not there, didn't come. Now the ball ground level. Handball Melcheski, got a left foot. Pursued here. Did well on Stringer. The left foot inside out, banana misses.
The run from Shaw and Melcheski off the half-back line tonight is one of the reasons they're as far up in this game as they are, 39 points. They've both had 15 disposals, and it's all uncontested stuff. That means they're pushing to space to create that overlap run.
26 of their 30 possessions combined, uncontested, Richo. It's all overlap run from half-back.
Stokes. Murdoch. Couldn't quite get there. So still no goals, and we've played almost 12 minutes in the second quarter. Couldn't be a scoreless or a goalless half for Geelong, could it? A team of this stature and standing in the game and form, current form in the game as well. Geelong
and game style, BT. They keep over nearly 20 goals last time they played here because they will just keep attacking. I don't think they know any other way, and that's why I love this side so much. They'll take the game on, but at the moment they are just not finding a winner anywhere.
Here we go again. Motlaw, nice little kick. Drew Hawkins to the footy, but it was just too much on it. So when I say nice, it wasn't that nice for Hawkins. Melcheski goes for a risky bullet in the middle. The beautiful clean pick-up by McVeigh. McGlynn couldn't control it. Hughes was in there. McGlynn, the wee man, has another crack at it. Little handball on the Bird. He thought about McVeigh. In the end, he went. The linking chain of handballs. Quite superb. And Jack scrubs one off the left side.
Since they got out of jail then, Chris Scotty looks pretty composed, Scotty, at the moment, but on the inside he'd be really frustrated. Dan Hanbury had run the show and was on his own, 40 metres in the clear, and no one saw him, and Jack kicked it out of bounds on the full in the end. So
they've got players out everywhere offensively, but when you're up here seeing the whole ground, they're just working a lot harder at the moment. It's as simple as that.
Superb shot. See every player on the ground in that shot. And there's an example of Geelong just not nailing everything. Kelly would normally gobble that up. Now Smets. Running handball to Bew. He's got to go back into play. Nice bit of candy work. Smith was just bowled over by Malcheski. Now here they go on the counter again. It's a wide ball for Jack. He's got players on everywhere down the ground, but he was slow to turn, and boy, Bird just down the ground was absolutely giving it to him.
Play on!
Now Kennedy comes into the exact spot where Bird was standing unmanned.
Stay out, James!
Wanting to go middle. Teasing, desperate to get it in there. Nick Davis, the runner out there, saying, come on, get it into this position here. Tip it again. The Duke stretched out. Defenders can't reach it. The kick inside. Oh boy, Smith just lines it up from 40 launches, and he too has gone left.
Well, Tippett's match-up then was Cam Guthrie, who's about 40 kilos lighter, giving away nearly a foot, so it's a bit of disarray for Geelong at the moment, as we just said before to Lingy. Just so not used to seeing it. As Craig Bird's stats, he's just about the best player on the ground as well, Richard.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's never had more than 18 against Geelong in 8 games, so he's going to smash that tonight.
What, 18 for the game?
Against Geelong.
Right.
He's already had 18 now.
Yeah.
But his development in the midfield, along with Parker, it's allowing them to play Jack McVeigh forward. And gee, it's a lethal combination if you can do that.
Gee, big Tom Derricks hasn't been sighted a lot tonight, but that one went straight through the fingies. As Hawkins' little gentle kick up there for Simpson, trying to get him to move out to the right. And that's a throw by Grundy.
Just dropped it.
Yeah, that's a correct call by Matty Nichols, the umpire there.
I didn't say handball.
Yep.
Move out.
You're quite right, Matthew Nichols.
Move out, Nick.
You didn't see a handball.
Stephen.
Look at Stevie J. Look at him.
Stephen, move out, please. 5 metres. Thank you. Play off.
He's the big Dorso saying, get out of my way, Stevie J. I've got this under control. I can kick it. Stevie, I don't need you.
Big Dorso is taking on one step, snap round the body. Stevie J was looking at him saying, that's 100 to 1 chance you'll kick that, Dawson.
He wasn't backing him in, was he,
And he's still
Stevie?
not happy. He's saying, mate, that'll never happen again. Just give it to me, Dawson. I'll do it 99 out of 100, but under the big fella.
He just said, come on, Stevie.
Big Dawson.
He's a massive unit, isn't he, Dorso?
How funny is this? Stevie J's going, Dawson, you are no chance. Give it to me, mate.
Come on, mate. Give it.
This won't happen, Dawson. The big boy said, nah.
It's his first touch of the night, Dars. He wants to get a feel of the leather.
He may never, ever do that again, Dawson. Extraordinary kick.
I wonder what Stevie J and he will say in the meeting on Monday when they review this game about that. Malcheski to Parker, who Richo's spoken of tonight very fondly. Here is Shaw again. Smith under some pressure. Motlop again. An opportunity to go back inside here. Can go short or long.
Great
Once again, Hawkins to the wrong spot, but Bartel to the right spot. It was beautifully positioned, as you mentioned, Dars, to the advantage of Bartel. Just couldn't quite get on the end of it. McVeigh, the run of Hanbury and Franklin. Look at Franklin going at full stretch.
Yeah, he got some good separation on Harry Taylor there.
A little short one to Kennedy.
Showed you the wheel,
wide journey.
Showed you the wheel spud he's got, didn't it? Then he was able to pull away from Harry Taylor.
He was. He made great ground laterally. This is it here. You might see it in picture, but he'd run a long way and he'd run very fast, and he really worked Harry Taylor over.
It was a perfect kick, though. When you can slide on your knees as a forward and take a low-down chest mark, it's almost perfect because the defender's got no hope of getting down there.
So Kennedy searching for goal number 7 for Sydney from right on the 50 line. So they've gone left, right.
Hey, Richo, you mentioned Craig Berg playing in the midfield and what that does and allows Jack and also McVeigh as well to push forward. Got a young man by the name of Tom Mitchell running around in the Sydney reserve side. Had 64 possessions and kicked 4 goals the other day. He was an absolute star. Can't get a game at the moment. That's the talent of this side. 64 and kick 4.
He's an emergency tonight, Mitchell.
That's unbelievable.
Smets. See, they went inside again, Geelong, and that kick was spoiled. Murdoch picks up to Blitzarves from the standing start, high. Once again, Hawkins going in the opposite direction. He just can't get on the end of it tonight, Tommy Hawkins.
His dad, Barry, would have racked up 40 odd a few times, but 60.
He was a ball magnet, Barry, wasn't he, too? But
Geelong probably are lacking at the moment a genuine second tall forward to back up Tommy Hawkins. You guys have mentioned he's not having the best night, but I reckon it helps as we set up the other end when you've got another forward who can draw the ball in dangerous parts of the ground. Geelong just don't have that at the moment. It's all Hawkins.
Yeah, it is indeed. Stevie J relying on their smalls and mediums in that department here tonight. Smets chasing the footy down, had Buse on one way, elected to go back inside. Now Blitzarves again. Knocked out on the tackle, said the umpire. Counter-attack, Hanbury sets up the man with probably the best wheels in the game. Jeddah, chiselling ball didn't come, Tippett. Enormous pressure on Rivers now.
The man doesn't have it.
Well done, Rivers.
yeah, he played it well, didn't he? Played in front, backed himself in and deserved to come up with that footy. He's been a really good player this year, Jared Rivers. In defence, he's really good, solid footy player, but tonight with the footy coming in 31 times already, that is just as nervous as you be for a defender.
Defender's nightmare, that is. Barry Mitchell, BT, had 47 times in his career.
47 times, yeah. Doesn't surprise me. He was a prolific winner of the footy up here in the Jared Healy days, I reckon they were.
The Tommy Hafey years.
Great combination, Diesel, Jared Healy and Tom Mitchell running around the midfield.
Those great teams that Sydney had in that era.
Barry Mitchell, I should say.
Yep. Smets. Little one Jack. Stolen by Varco. Back inside to Kelly. High hoiking ball. Here comes Hawkins. Over the top. It was Dawson Simpson, in fact. Now Bartel. Quite slippery out there. Little one around the corner. Stringer. Couldn't get it to bend enough. And Shaw.
Thanks, George. Play on. Right. Moving on.
Grundy to Goods. Goods, for those who just joined us, kicking the second goal of the game tonight. A lot of publicity, of course, involving the Indigenous round and carrying the tag of Australia of the Year this year. It's been a big promotional year for him to handle, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been extraordinary. He's going to be at Dreamtime at the G Saturday night at the MCG as well. Adam Goods is part of the official build-up to that marquee event.
Here he is. Hall and Smith. What do you think's possible for Adam Goods, guys? He's played game 336, tied it up tonight with John Rantel and moves into the top 16 of games played. How long do you think?
What's great, Richo, is that he came off a really long-term injury. He hadn't been injured almost his entire career, and he's not in great form, but his athleticism looks to be no issue at all.
Yeah, I think he's still moving well. It'll probably just be his call mentally, whether he wants to go around again or whatever he wants to do with his life.
And there'll be some good opportunities for him after footy too, I'd imagine. Jeddah. Sure, beautiful half volley pickup back inside. Rampy loves his left.
The way the Swans are going, he might go out with the ultimate, because this is a pretty ominous display tonight.
I think he's got another big announcement with the Prime Minister Saturday night footy. He's going to join us with the Prime Minister with another announcement about a little bit of his future.
Okay. Rampy. Long handball. Here goes Sydney to Tippett. Tippett in front of Rivers, punched away. Goods. He'll kick it the same as he did in the first quarter. A right foot snapper around the body. He's got a couple.
Well, keep playing for as long as you like when you've got the ability that that man on screen has. And the great thing about him, he's been good enough to play midfield with Chris Judd at his all-time best. He can play as a crumbing forward like that. He can play as a key forward. He won a Brownlow medalist as a ruckman. He's a unique player and an absolute champion of the game in every sense of the word. And he'll be loving tonight.
Well, that was a great illustration of why they're so potent in this forward line. Franklin, on the right of your screen, led hard at the football. His man's always going to go with him. He's not going to sift off. That left space behind for Tippett to be one out. gives good contest and goods front and square crumbing.
I can't remember a player that's played in so many different positions. I mean, Matthew Pavlich comes to mind, but he never played in the ruck, Pav. But this guy has, as you mentioned, Darcy.
Won a Brownlow medalist, run a Brownlow medal in 2003 as a genuine ruckman.
Yeah.
And then hurt his knee and didn't play there ever again. He can play crumbing forward, key forward. He played on Chris Judd regularly when Chris Judd was the best player in the game as a midfielder.
So I don't know too many that have been able to achieve that flexibility. McVeigh did a brilliant job to keep the ball in front of him then.
Tell you what, he was very scary to play on in the ruck. He'd just run and run and run. Made a lot of big dinosaurs running around fairly nervous.
Murdoch in the middle there, copped a bit of a knock. That's why he sits on the chair at the moment, just recovering from that. So they'll keep a close eye on him. Duncan out of defence, but Henry absolutely dominating display here by the Sydney Swans in this first half of footy. Only 3 minutes left in it. Just a 1-goal net to the Cats so far, and 7 for Sydney. And they're pressing here as well. Hanbury really wanted it, didn't want to give it. Got Malcheski on his non-preferred right in the end.
Gee, that just sums up exactly what's happening in this game perfectly there. It was a 50-50 ball. It might have even been to Geelong's advantage, but just Josh Kennedy put his body on the line, won the ball, fed it out to Hanbury, who we saw take that intercept mark, and worked his way down. They're just outworking them, out-competing them at the moment, the Swans.
And here's a pretty good example of their work. A really good example of their work.
Well, they're getting back into defensive 50 to mop up first, and then they're pushing forward really hard as well. It's a great gut-running display here.
Lloyd doesn't go for the goal, deliberately pops it at the top of the square, gives the big boys and the little boys an opportunity there. Kelly. Feed to Bartel. Off the one step. Got to be perfect here. Went through the hands of Murdoch. He really needed to grab that. Was an uncontested mark down his throat in the end. Rampy, long ball. Tip it there. Couldn't get it. I think Big Derek's in front of him as well. Picked up by Kennedy. Snap. Didn't bring it back.
It's a massive first half this from Sydney to blow the Cats out of the game.
I think 230 disposals in a half.
Lots of questions in Chris Scott's mind at the moment. I know we're in round 11, a long way to go, and a lot plays out injury-wise, but for me, if Sydney stays sound, I think they're the best team in the game. I can't see anyone beating them. All things being equal, if they can keep this list sound, Tip and Franklin get more accustomed to each other, no one's going to beat Sydney in my mind.
So Lloyd goes for home, and there's just a nice little one for him before half-time.
Nice goal, nice finish, but once again had a fair bit of time to think about it. Lloyd, that shot on goal. It's been a long time since we've seen Geelong be dominated like this in a half of football. I certainly can't remember.
This is the man who they tell me is keeping Tom Mitchell out of the side, Jake Lloyd. He just keeps getting the job done, doesn't make any mistakes, and Mitchell would probably be a walk-up start in any other midfield at the moment, but they really love Jake Lloyd.
Hanbury. High footy in the half-forward direction. Out the back, there's Lloyd again. Deft little give, wasn't it? Set up this opportunity with Parker, and now Tippett. Geelong this time through Stokes. Probably should have turned the other way, and Harry Taylor's going to make him go that way now. And a risky, risky kick. Here's Lloyd again. Got it in the hands of Goods. Taylor out the back to Stokes, who will get a second chance, and he gives another one. Look at Sydney hanging all over the back of every Geelong leader.
Yeah, it was good hands by Guthrie, but it needed to be. They're all over them.
Darcy, you asked before about taking that option up the middle every time. Well, that's the one. That kick went to James Kelly. Great grab by Jimmy Bartel standing under the footy, but that's the one where it's just too much of a risk. It's too much of a chance to turn the ball over. Need to be smarter with their decisions and not give Sydney as big a look.
Oh, look at Murdoch run away from Grundy, but in the end he didn't have the composure to finesse the kick. to the correct position. McVeigh, 10 seconds to go. Geelong have got a 3-on-1 here. Franklin in front. He'll have to kick it long. Here it comes to Tippett. Will the siren sound? It does. So Sydney are in total control of this game at the moment. But it's certainly not out of the reach of the Cats. It is 8-9-57 to Geelong. 139 Sydney.
Welcome back. Halftime here on Fox Footy. And Sydney, 134 disposals in the first quarter tonight was their most ever in any quarter of football since statistics have been held. They have absolutely dominated this game, and had they kicked straight, would have absolutely put Geelong to the sword. Geelong's 139 is their lowest halftime score since round 12, 1977. So that says it all, doesn't it? One of the great teams of the modern era are absolutely being destroyed by the Sydney Swans. Boys, Derm?
Put them on the rack, haven't they?
Oof, have they ever?
Look, they've dominated in so many areas, but the one for me is they cannot contain Sydney's run from inside defensive 50 right through to their inside forward 50. Geelong just cannot contain that.
It's the most comprehensive performance I've seen this season. I mean, when you take into account the quality of the opposition and how absolutely comprehensively they're smashing them in every department, this is exciting stuff.
It is exciting. And just remember, they did it to Fremantle too, so they're beating good sides. You're right, their rebound from half-back has been as good as I've seen, and they've got only one key forward. Tommy Hawkins hasn't had an impact. They need someone else to mark the ball up forward.
Well, let's go into Cam Mooney. He tipped the Cats. Cam, let's be honest, mate, it would be a dead cat bounce, as they say on Wall Street from here, I think.
Yeah, said struggling a little bit at the moment, the Cats, but they do come home late, apparently.
Looks like they came home late last night, the way they're going, mate. Kingy, anything?
Oh, look, I just think the cost of living allowance up there, Ed's really kicked in tonight, no doubt about that. That'll thrill you. Kurt Tippett does look amazing. He's changed the whole complexion of their side. They go to him more often than not now, but he's not the main man at the moment. He's playing that second fiddle perfectly, and they look like they've got this balance quite right.
As the great Warner Wolf used to say, roll the videotape, and let's have a look. Indigenous round, and it started tonight in Sydney with great entertainment, and then Stevie J and Adam Goods shaking hands, two of the greats of the modern era.
Absolutely. Well, Adam Goods got on the end of this one as Buddy brings it forward. Goodsy put the score... Kurt Tippett here gets on the end of that one, slots this one through there. And now, here we have Nick Malcheski. 20 possession, boys, for Malcheski up through the midfield there. Handball out. Adam Goods laid across the body for a nice little one to get himself on the board. That put him 14-1. And then Buddy Franklin grabs a bit of Harry's jumper. Harry grips on. A little bit of a panic free kick there from being held down. He pleads his case. And the umpire puts across his case.
Geelong's second goalless first quarter of the year.
Didn't improve in the second term. Inexplicably, Travis Varco keeps the ball in when he had to take it over the boundary line. Craig Bird, who is dominating, he's got his own footy, kicks goal. And it took Dawson Simpson, the big ruckman, to kick their one and only goal.
And Adam Goods, well, he hasn't had a high possession game in a dominance from the Sydney Swans, but he knows how to kick a goal. And just like the one before, he's put it across his body, sensational snap. And Jake Lloyd, he got in. Now, look out, this probably shows the whole thing of the night, boys. How easy is that inside 50? No pressure at all coming to him, and Jake Lloyd kicks a goal.
Absolutely, and they went on and kicked 8-9-57 to 139. There's Dawson Simpson from the boundary line. He refused to give the ball to Stevie J, who protests, in fact, stood on the mark better than the Sydney Swans bloke, I reckon, trying to get the kick. Didn't matter, big Dawson stuck it through. Malcheski, as Dermot tipped early in the game, 20 disposals to half-time. Kelly, Stokes and Mackey doing their best, but there's been no one for the Geelong side. Bird and Parker in amongst it, and in fact, Joel Selwood's only had 2 kicks to half-time. Plenty of handballs, but 2 kicks.
Well, the stat sheet, we always pull something out. What's extraordinary is they have 39 inside 50 entries. You get 56, you win a game. So extrapolate that. You got 78. They're running on 78. You go in 78 times, you kick 150 points.
And I'll tell you why they're doing it, because it's Uncle Tony, the proudest man in the studio tonight. Reece Shaw is killing them, Tone. Have a look at this.
Well, he is, and Malcheski, the man that Dermy put up before the game as a player who's going to dominate, they haven't looked like that. Here's the spoil on Motlop, and then he gets the handball. They were playing like Geelong through the corridor, but it was all good corridor play, wasn't it? You look here, they don't even get outside the square, and Tippett runs onto the ball. But yeah, Reece Shaw's had it on a string early in this game, interception, rebound, and that's just a lack of pressure from a lot of players. Players getting sucked up. He even calls Tippett, "Here, boys, to the ball." Now, Tippett, I think, was going to lead, but Reece said he's had that much time and a lack of pressure. Come at me because I'm going to give you one here. So,
and Tony, beautiful touch there from Reece as well. Just put it to the right side of Tippett. Not only called him on, but put it out to the spot for him to lead to. And again, there he is off half back again. Reece Shaw, just in sensational form. And I tell you what, you'd love to be a forward leading out to that, Jace, wouldn't you?
I've got to be honest, Ed, the scoreboard actually flatters Geelong. It should be 10 or 12 goals, given they missed a few regulation shots, the Swans.
Yeah. Boys, we're going to take a break. Jace has been saying it right throughout the game. The Sydney Swans could have absolutely belted Geelong off the park. Well, we'll find out if there is such a thing in football as the dead cat bounce. The boys in the war room are going to work out how they can come back. Certainly Moons has been scratching his head for the last hour of football to try and get his Catters back in play. It's a 48-point margin at half-time to the Swans on Indigenous round 2014.